We're going to move on because it's time to address the big news that the best team in the NFL has just made in the last 2 days. The Buccaneers going and acquiring Julio Jones. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay.
You just gave Tom Brady another weapon. What, Jake? What?
I know you're only doing this because it is the Buccaneers. I get it. But you say the Rams are disrespected, and this is why. They had Allen Robinson, and people are like, man, whatever. And then Julio Jones goes to Tampa Bay after being awful since he left Atlanta. Awful.
Because who was his quarterback?
Whatever. Who was AJ Brown's quarterback? Regardless, I think it's a good move for the Bucs, but let's calm down a little bit.
Julio played for the 1 seed in the AFC last year. It's not like he was on a bad team.
But he didn't have the best quarterback ever created throwing him the ball. And now he does. He never had that, and now he does. So let's get all the facts out of the way before I go. He did struggle in Tennessee last year, career low in yards per game, touchdowns, and receptions. So in 10 games, 31 catches, 434 yards, and 1 touchdown. The touchdowns is very similar to his time in Atlanta because he would only have that in his whole season. Missed 14 games in the last 2 seasons, but a little bit injury-ridden. But he comes to Tampa Bay, and is he the best wide receiver in this room anymore? Probably not. Actually, probably would still take just overall sense Mike Evans and Chris Godwin over him at this point. But that's perfect because that's what Julio Jones comes in to be. And I understand that you don't want the best team in the league to get any better, so I understand why people want to try to downplay who and what Julio Jones is. But that's why he's such a great addition to this Buccaneers room, because he comes in as that third wide receiver and that veteran presence that's going to know what to do. He's seen every coverage. He's seen every situation. So it's a guy that Tom Brady doesn't have to worry about making the right reads in a situation. He's going to be able to go and do that. So give him a limited role, give him one-on-one opportunities, give him a shortened time on the field to maximize it all, and you're going to get the best out of Julio Jones. Let's remember, when Antonio Brown came in, when Antonio Brown seemingly did what Julio Jones is doing now and comes in and beefs up this wide receiver room, was he crazy during the regular season? No. He didn't make that many splashes in the regular season.
Not publicly.
But what he do, right, not on the field, but what did he do come playoff time? That Super Bowl run, he has a great NFC Championship game, and then catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl. At the time, a crucial touchdown, ended up running away with the game. But at the time, the touchdown to give us the lead in the Super Bowl. So Julio Jones steps right into that slot. And last year and 2 years ago, we can go into the playoffs and Mike Evans starts seeing more coverage and Chris Godwin starts seeing more coverage. Who did Tom Brady go and find then? Tyler Johnson starts having big games. Scotty Miller starts having big games. I'm sorry. So now you're telling me that when Chris Godwin and Mike Evans start seeing more attention, it's not Tyler Johnson getting the target, it's Julio Jones? Oh, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You can't downplay this at all to me, because I'm not asking for 1,000 yards and 12, 15 touchdowns out of Julio Jones. I'm asking for a veteran presence and big moments into the playoffs and later in the season. And you're fooling yourself, Statbat Robinson. You're fooling yourself if you think Julio Jones can't give that to me. No, that's on your face. You're fooling yourself if you think Julio Jones can't give that to me with the best quarterback God's ever put on this earth throwing him the ball. I'm just saying.
It's just disrespectful. I thought of a comparison, but it's disrespectful to Julio because it's unfair to compare it to him. But I'm going to do it anyway. It kind of reminds me of when Chad Ochocinco went to the Patriots and he was washed, didn't do anything on that team.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's not that bad.
No, Julio Jones is a way better receiver than Chad Ochocinco.
Maybe
way
at
better.
one point.
No,
right.
Ochocinco has no chance of making the Hall of Fame. Julio Jones is absolutely going to make it there. Julio,
see what a ring this year.
Julio might have some nice important catches on third down in a playoff game, but but if I were going to do I'll do a second comparison. It's almost like this is even more disrespectful to Julio, but the play styles are similar. It's like Alshon Jeffrey late in his Eagles career. Like that's what I see as he's a guy who's just not there anymore. He might make a tough catch in certain situations, but he's not a guy who can create separation. He's not a guy who you can rely on in big situations. He's a regular run-of-the-mill third receiver. And that's why he was able to be signed in July.
Jake, you're gonna let him do that? You're gonna let just to make a point. You're gonna let him do that? Call him a run of the mill receiver? You're like Alshon Jeffrey, the guy who dropped a pass to take y'all to the NFC Championship game. That guy, he's like that guy.
Alshon Jeffrey caught a huge touchdown in the Super Bowl, just like
and
the guy that
this year.
Just like the guy you compared him to.
I may low key may have had my argument swiveled a little bit here. I'm digging around as you guys were talking on Football Reference here. And I didn't, honestly, like, I dogged on Julio the last 2 years. He's only played 10 games in last year, 9 games of the year before that. And I was like, let me just see what so a total of 19 games. Let me see what it bears out for the 17 game average. And if you put those games, that pace to a 17 game, like a season, 104 targets, 73 catches for almost 1,100 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Run of the mill receiver. That's what I was told. Run of the mill receiver.
I don't. Maybe you know what? That was definitely a little bit of a radicalizing stat dive there for me.
Every time we talk about a receiver, and we just did it with the last segment when we talked about Allen Robinson. What do I always say to y'all? Who's throwing him the ball? It's not bummy Matt Ryan and mid Ryan Tannehill anymore. It's the greatest quarterback ever. The guy who made Chris Hogan look good and Scotty Miller look good and Danny Amendola look good. That's that guy.
I do. It is worth noting, while we're not trying to be disrespectful, Matt Ryan did win an MVP during that time. Did win an MVP.
Bummy.
Okay.
He bummy.
Anyways, I think it's a solid, oh my gosh. It's a solid addition. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole right now. It's a solid addition to an already very solid team, where you're looking at Russell Gage as your 4th wide receiver. 2 years ago, Julio and Russell Gage were the 1 and 2. Now they're the 3 and 4 on a team. It's crazy. No, it's not on par with the Allen Robinson signing, but it is still a plus to that given team.
I think it may not have the impact and the magnitude, but the scheme fit gets the same amount of plus points, because the Rams are looking for a number 2. They probably got the best number 2 they could get on the market. We got a 3rd or 4th option, and it's Julio Jones. It's a 3rd, and it's Julio Jones. That's the 3rd or 4th.
Good place to be in.
Good place to be in. Matt, you got a rebuttal?
He's not that good anymore. He doesn't get to play games. He's just not that good anymore. I love Julio. I love Julio. I think he has one of the greatest plays in NFL history that no one will remember, and I think that's a tragedy. But
what play is that?
In the Super Bowl, when he caught it on the sideline.
And should have broken all 4 or 5
won
of his
the game
toes.
Because it put him in field goal range with 3 minutes to go, up 8. But whatever.
That's probably one of the greatest toe taps I've ever seen.
It's also a great throw. I don't want to keep doing this, but it's also a great throw. It's one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, in my opinion, because it's such a perfect throw and a perfect catch against perfect defense.
You've played
so
right
it's
into
just
his hands,
great
James.
football. It's great football against great football. So I'm not even going to say the name of I'm not going to make it because
not going to say it.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm doing that, but it's just like an incredible football play that got sullied by bad coaching.
Honestly, Matt Ryan needs someone in his corner as much as you're in his corner. He needs somebody there.
Local guy.
He's an Exton boy too.
Yeah, local guy.
And doesn't do anything for me. We're not from Exton. We're from 2 towns over.
I'm not from Exton either, but I drive there a lot.
Yeah, I'm shoot down 113. That's where I'm from. I'm not from Exton, so I got no ties. No, I don't want to be that down on Matt Ryan, but I'm just that high on the Julio Jones signing. So he goes into a different offense too. We talked about the offense that Tennessee is a run heavy, run first offense, even without Derrick Henry. Still like to be run first and run heavy. And then, so if if Ryan Tannehill, same quarterback, if Ryan Tannehill is throwing the ball 17, 18 times a game, he didn't catch that, Jake. If Ryan Tannehill is throwing the ball 17, 18 times a game, and A.J. Brown is getting 9 of them, Jonnu Smith is getting 6 to 7 of them, Julio got 2-3 targets to eat up with 2-3 other receivers. Tom Brady throws this thing around the yard. And at 42, we'll throw it 40 times if the game calls for it. And I don't know. give me Julio Jones as my number 3 wide receiver or going either. Let me say it now on the airwaves, and it's not going to change. The Buccaneers will be the 2023 Super Bowl champions.
Wow, that's so brave of you to say.
But it's not me just being a homer. Like, I truly believe it's straight facts is what it is, Jake. I haven't heard you two come out and say the Eagles are Super Bowl winners.
They're
I'm a
not going to.
realist.
You guys love. So am I. Like, so am I.
Okay, then don't act like you're going out on a branch. Your team already won the Super
won
Bowl.
it. That's why I'm not. That's why
I have
me
my
going
Super
on a
Bowl.
branch.
I have my Super Bowl pick. I'll let you guys know later.
That should be. We should reveal those last episode of the offseason.
We'll do our big prediction episode, last episode of the offseason, y'all. Oh yeah, you could just check tape on mine.
Right, play the tape back
Run it. Play the tape. Run it. Super Bowl champions.